Now, drawing vertical cable tray and ductwork, very much the same, is a little bit tricky because we always forget to anticipate the bending allowances. Like over here, we have a 30 inch, or just under a meter radius on these bends. And as you think of this as going vertically, as you go through, the transition between this plane and then up over here has to be at least two bend distances with a little bit of fitting in between, and that goes for vertical as well. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to open up my 3D view, and we have turned off the architectural model. If you haven't already, pick on it and use your light bulb up on the top to hide that element. But what we'll do here is I have my 3D view and my power plan. So what I'm going to do is let's go to view, and let's say close all hidden windows, and let's open up our power plan and then the 3D view we were just in. Okay, and now what we can do is just tile these views. So I've got my 3D view over here, and I've got a plan view over here, and this is the way we do vertical. If we're just changing it, transitioning with slope, it's easy. So if we go in here and say System, Cable Tray, and I can set an elevation. As I type in numbers, Revit's going to remember it. So I can say, at 3 feet, I'm going to pick in here, and I'm going to draw a piece of cable tray. 3 feet, click there. Okay. Then if I say, okay, change the offset to be, at 5'6", and then pick another point, I have to allow it for pick and click, and there we are with this weird. I don't want to hit apply because that'll make it actually go vertical. Watch what happens. No, I don't want to do that. Escape. Let's start this again. I'm going to click out, delete that. Cable tray. So 3 feet. So from here to here is 3 feet. And then I'm going to transition to, say, 5'6", and then pick out here. That was the thing. Again, you see, you need to allow enough space for this bend, there, and there. So again, that was my problem. So moving along here, now all of a sudden I want to go back to be, 2 feet, and then I can pick over here and pick over there. Okay, so it's always going to kind of slope the change instead of going actual vertical. So we can just change this number. We don't have to use this apply button as long as we're providing sloping transitions. Escape. Okay, but if we want sloping transitions, I'm going to hover, tab, click, and delete this stuff. We'll try this again using that apply button. So watch, we'll say cable tray, click, and maybe we'll start right at floor level 0. And I'm going to go in here and go pick. And then instead of dragging, what I'm going to do, I want to go straight up right off the bat. So I've picked my first point. Now I'm going to go to here and say, okay, go up 2 feet. But if I just pick now, it's not going to do what I want to go this way. If I just pick now, it'll just basically, that one flat segment will be at 2 feet. After I type in 2 feet, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit apply. Sometimes you have to click it twice, but if you wait for it, there it goes. There's my 2-foot vertical segment. So you pick the first point, change the number, hit apply. And then it kind of stops your command. I'm going to pan in here a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is hover over to pick this connector. Pick. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to drag across. So now I've picked on that connector, and I should probably have said inherit elevation, although I think it's going to inherit it anyway. But now here's the thing. Now I want to start to drag across over here. So if I just start to drag, that is going to be going straight across at the 2-foot height. The problem with that is that if I go straight here at 2 feet across, this isn't high enough to provide that initial elbow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, rather than to come straight across at 2 feet, I'm going to change my vertical elevation here to be, 5'6", and then I'm going to drag, and then I'm going to click, and it's actually going to put that elbow in there for me because I'm up at 5'6". See how much room that needs? Okay. Now here I go, moving along. Now I can, continue picking at that same elevation, pick again. It just draws another segment. Now all of a sudden I want to go up again. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. Now this is the thing. As I go up here, you have to realize I'm going to need a radius here of 30 inches, the elbow. Okay, this is my bending radius over here. It's also set in the type pro. So I need 30 inches. I need a little piece, and then I need another 30 inches. So as I'm about to put this in, I need to have this to be at least, 5 feet above this. So 10, 12, at least 12 feet. So I'm going to go over to here and say, 12 feet. And then I'm going to hit apply. And it's going to go up the 12 feet. It's going to put the first bend in. Now what I'm going to do is hover over this connector again, and I'm going to pick on here. And again, when I go this way, I need to provide at least enough distance to provide that elbow again. So I'm going to go apply and then click on there. Okay. Now, once again, if I want to go up, I need to go at least double this and then some. You see, there's that 30 inches. There's that little piece. There's 30 inches. Now I'm going to go up again. So I need to say, okay, if that was 12, I need to go at least 5, 6 feet to be safe. So let's go 18 feet here. And then hit apply, click. Now I'm up 18 feet. And now I can pick on here, safely drag across. Oh, not enough. There you go. Not enough space. So I'm going to click out. Escape. To fix that, I think I'm going to pick on here. Maybe do it in my 3D view. And I'm going to drag this guy up a little bit further using my shift key to make it nice and straight. Well, I must have snapped to something there. Drag that guy up a little bit. Okay, back to here. And right click on here and say draw cable. And then come across. Now it's got enough room to put that elbow in. Escape. So I had to do a little modification there. So the thing is, doing vertical stuff, and you can also come down on it as well. I can click on here and right click on this connector and say draw cable. And then right away I'm going to go into here and drop it way down and say, okay, down to 3 feet. Boom, hit apply. And it's going to go down to 3 feet. Now, maybe I didn't do the inherit part. Let's undo that back again. Okay, pick on here, right click, draw cable tray, inherit elevation. Okay, and drop this down. Oh, again, I don't think I have enough length in here. You see, I need to pull this guy out a little bit. Right click, draw cable tray, drop it down to 5'6", hit apply. There we go. You see, it's always that bending radius. It's going to get you every time. And then again, I can, now here I've gone back down and I can't grab that connector. So I did notice that when you do come back down here, it doesn't know where to grab that. So I'm going to hover over here and see if I can grab it. Tab. I can't. In this case, to continue, escape, I'm going to pan over here, pick on here, right click on here and say draw cable tray. Again, make that length long enough to provide the elbow. Hold the shift key in to make it straight and click. In goes the elbow. Okay, so drawing vertical cable tray. Oh boy, my screen's going crazy there. Drawing vertical cable tray, a little trickier, takes a little bit more practice. Get used to that apply button. And you can see even here I'm calling it, it's making it pretty tight. I barely provided enough space. This one wasn't too bad, this one in here. But you'll notice these guys barely had enough room to get those transitions. So keep that radius in mind when you're in here. Part of it you could just make this smaller, I suppose, but you don't want to make it too tight. Your standard. So this 30-inch radius gets applied to here, and it also gets applied over to these guys over here. These little bends at the T's are different. That's not really a bend. These are bends in the cable tray. So a little bit of information on doing cable trays, changing your elevations, and creating those vertical runs. And I have to say again, duct work pretty much works the same way.